It is time for us to take a look at what I have deemed already the best quarterback rookie class in the history of the NFL, right? I'm talking about Penix. I'm talking about McCarthy. I'm talking about Drake Maye, Caleb Williams, and Jayden Daniels. We are going to give our midday midterms and grade the rookie seasons from what is going to be the greatest crop of quarterbacks to have ever come out in one class. Let's get this party started.
Let's take a look and grade the season of TGL attendee, Patriots quarterback Drake Maye.
Drake Maye already trying to show some love to the Bostonians out there, right? The Beantown. Do you call it Beantown?
Sometimes, yeah. I
Drake,
get confused because I'm not a very well-traveled individual.
yeah.
And when I think Bean, I think the Chicago Bean. So
yeah.
Beantown kind of confuses me, but I'm not a smart guy.
It's all good, yeah. Well, nobody expects you to be.
All right, fair enough.
But we expect mediocre quarterbacks from the Patriots to be Pro Bowlers. I guess that's the standard. If you're mediocre and you play for the Patriots, you're a Pro Bowler. Mac Jones did it, and now Drake Maye is a recent Pro Bowler. So if you're telling me that the third overall pick with that roster earned a bid to the Pro Bowl, I got to give him a B+. Drake Maye gets a B+ from me. Wasn't a spectacular year, but he did eventually earn the starting spot. 15 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, but he showed a lot of promise with his play. You can tell this guy's going to be a pro for a long time. I can't tell yet what his ceiling is going to be. Like, to me, he seems like 10 to 15-year career, like solid playoff wins. I don't know if he's going to ever be a Super Bowl champion, but based off his rookie season, again, with no weapons around him, I know at the very least that's a guy that they can hang their hat on for the future. B+.
Gun to the head. Better or worse career than Phil Rivers?
That is tough. People forget how good Phil Rivers was, especially because it was in the AFC.
Historically good
dogs.
offenses.
Yeah.
Right?
Like they were the team that kept on having a number one rated offense and whatnot, and not really doing anything in the postseason. One time they didn't even make the playoffs with the number one offense. I'm going to say Drake Maye surpasses him.
Whoa.
And I will. And this is why, though. When you look at their overall numbers at the end of the day, because of the era in which we play in and the fact that Drake Maye is also going to have rushing statistics too, also coaching is so much smarter, his numbers are going to surpass Phil Rivers' numbers. And Phil Rivers didn't do enough winning for me to justify if their numbers match or if Maye is better, Rivers being ahead of him. So I'm giving Drake Maye the nod.
Get excited, Patriots fans. If you draft someone who is being projected to be better than Phil Rivers,
yeah,
that's a great. You didn't get a top 3 pick either. All right, Theo, class is in session. Grade Bo Nix's rookie season.
Bo Nix almost turned the Offensive Rookie of the Year conversation upside down in the middle of the year when he had that run of games where he just kept winning, kept churning along. But Bo Nix, to me, he was more of a merchant of that Sean Payton offense that made it so easy for him. The answers were right there for him. 29 touchdowns, 12 picks, started from day one. First quarterback to do that since John Elway with the Broncos. But again, if your quarterback is Bo Nix, the 6th best guy in the draft, drafted 12th overall, and you're also paying another quarterback $40+ million to play for another team, which means less resources for Bo Nix, and he makes the playoffs, that's an A. That's an A for Bo Nix.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking right now at that schedule like you alluded to where Bo Nix was rattling off wins.
Yeah.
And like the best win, the best team that the Denver Broncos beat this year was like the Buccaneers in week 3. Because Raiders, Saints, Panthers, Falcons.
They're beating bad teams
Browns,
all year long.
Colts, and then every good team they played, they lost to.
But he was a rookie quarterback with, who was he throwing the ball to? Jerry Jeudy?
Hey, put some respect on Cortland Sutton's name.
I'm sorry, Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims.
Yeah.
Who was it else? It was another guy. It wasn't Jeudy. Jeudy was with the Browns.
There's a tight end there.
Yeah, Dulcich. Well, no, Dulcich sat out this year. It wasn't a lot of weapons around the guy, and he also did just enough to win. I think Bo Nix, here's the thing I'll say. I think Bo Nix is closer to his ceiling than any of the other 6 quarterbacks. I'm not sure how much better he's going to be, but he also proved he can throw the deep ball accurately. Remember, everybody kept calling him a dink and dunk king, and he threw that 60-yard bomb early. He did it again against the Bills in the wild card round. I think Bo Nix is really good. 29 passing touchdowns? Come on, that's an A.
An A, but that leaves you very little room for growth for Jayden Daniels, who is your next quarterback rookie season to grade.
That's easy. It's the easiest one. Like, honestly, it's hard because I wish I can give him a better grade than A+, but that's all I have to work with. He gets an A+.
He gets to skip a grade.
Yeah, actually, that's probably more apt. We're not even grading this kid.
We get him out of this school. He's going to the School of Gifted Children.
He broke the record for rushing yards in a rookie season, right? Rookie completion percentage, he broke that record. Near 70%, didn't turn the ball over a lot, won 2 playoff games in his first season, went head-to-head with the Eagles in the NFC Championship and did not blink. Jayden Daniels is going to be a rock star in this league for over a decade. He revived the Commanders team that looked dead in the waters. This same roster won like 4 games last year. Their win total was 7.5. They won 12. They won 12 en route to a playoffs appearance where he won 2 games, beating those Buccaneers and the Lions, the 1 seed. How do you not give that guy, like, all of the credit in the book?
That's why I have problem with Bo Nix in the A. I think Bo Nix maybe a B+. Maybe it's, you know what it is?
It's really good. It was a really good season for Bo Nix, though.
I think it's jaded based on expectation. So if we had high expectations for Bo Nix, we look at their season and you think, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Versus we were talking about the Broncos being historically bad before Bo Nix got there.
Yes.
And looking at the mess that was left from Russell Wilson, still paying that guy.
Yeah. Bo Nix, the Broncos spent like $50 million on their quarterback this year pretty much. They did because they were paying Russell Wilson. And Bo Nix performed like a lot of other $50 million quarterbacks this year. So I got to give him credit.
It's a tough one. Caleb Williams, grade his rookie season.
B-, man. And maybe I'm just a nice grader, but if you look at his overall statistics at the end of this thing, he actually had a good rookie year compared to a lot of other guys who have busted out or have looked bad as the number 1 overall pick. That situation in Chicago, we just had left lofty goals on it because we assumed the infrastructure was perfect, whereas they had a terrible offensive line. They had a head coach that couldn't make it through the end of the season. And even when they did finally get Thomas Brown elevated, once he got elevated all the way to head coach, he lost his ability to have his fingerprints on that offense as much. Caleb Williams is good. He showed enough promise. His season was underwhelming, but it wasn't as bad as we look at it as. I give him a B-, and maybe I'm just being nice.
You know what I loved so much about the end of Caleb Williams' season? Listen, whenever you're a Bear and you beat a Packer, that's something that leaves a good taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic result that has you thinking about next year in a positive light. It was specifically the way they beat the Packers. Running the 2-minute drill to perfection. Managing the clock to perfection. When you think back to how Thanksgiving Day ended for the Bears and they're slipping through the hands. But obviously that coach was fired after that. Eberflus was gone.
So. He lost him some games. Eberflus lost him like 3 games.
So you know what? I think you have good reason to be optimistic for that rookie quarterback. And one more for you, Theo, with your foot out the door. The season that maybe could have been, if we saw more of it, grade the season of Falcons quarterback Michael Penix Jr.
I also give Penix a B-. Lockstep with Caleb Williams here. Great situation to step into. He also got the runway of not having to play early on. I give Falcons brass and management an F this year. They are the reason why the Buccaneers had a home game and won the division. Not the play of Kirk Cousins, not the play of that offense or defense or Jesse Bates or anybody. The Falcons not pulling the trigger earlier and putting Michael Penix in for a clearly denigrated Kirk Cousins is the only reason why they weren't the division champs and they weren't the ones that got to lose to Jayden Daniels in the first round. So, B- for Michael Penix. He looked good when he stepped in, man. He looked really good, and I think the offense took a step forward instead of how hobbled they looked with whatever's left of Kirk Cousins leading.
Grade the